Hey everybody, I know y'all like Girl Where You Been, you late again, but I committed to this Haves and the Have-Nots reviews and I'm going to do it, okay? Between my hair business, The Perspective, which is my online talk show on Facebook, and Power came out today, y'all. And if any Power fans are out there, like, y'all understand, like, I couldn't miss that episode, which I might review it, by the way. But anywho, enough of that. I am here to give you guys a review of The Haves and the Have-Nots. This is Season 5, Episode 19, and it is titled Team of Rivals, which at this point in the story, everybody is rivals. But we'll get to that. Before I dig into it, if this is your first time on my channel, please click that subscribe button. You won't regret it. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much. Okay, now let's get on with the show. Okay, so it starts off where it left off with Justin holding two guns in his hand, one up to Jeffrey's head, one up to his head, okay? This point, he's mad because he saw Jeffrey at Wyatt's house, and Justin just really think they have a thing going on, okay? Although Wyatt is straight, but whatever. So Justin is mad. He's like, if I can't have you, can't nobody have you. So this is about to be like a murder-suicide. So at this point, Jeffrey is like, I'm just sick of this, okay? Jeffrey is like, okay, so if you gonna do it, then do it. And Justin is like, oh, you dang right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Like, he's trying to convince himself. So Jeffrey is like, okay, so do it. Do it. He's literally pushing him, like yelling louder and louder. And I'm thinking, like, dude, like, is Jeffrey trying to call his bluff? Or, like, is he legit, like, want to die today? Like, because think about it. Jeffrey's life is messed up in all kinds of ways. But he puts down one situation. He gets past one situation just to deal with another situation. So he might have been telling the truth in this moment. But anyways, Justin was like, what? You're not scared? Because I'm scared. And I'm like, who holds the gun and says that they're scared? Whatever. So then Jeffrey, just as I suspected, was like, do it. I'm not scared of you. I've told you once before. And at this point, I pretty much hate my life and your life is messed up. So go ahead, do it. And so at this point, Justin is like, I can't do this. And he places both guns down. And Jeffrey is like, yeah, just like I thought. So he was calling his bluff. And then, bam, out of nowhere, Jeffrey hits Justin with a right hook. And it looked like he had some force behind that punch. So Justin is like grabbing his cheek and he's like, oh my gosh, you butthole. Like, he called him an a-hole. And I'm like, dude, like, you was just holding a gun to his face and you called him an a-hole, whatever. So then Jeffrey is like, me? Like, no, you're the a-hole. So then Justin is like, what in the world is wrong with you? And I'm like, is this scene really happening right now? So Jeffrey is like, if you ever do that again. Now, mind you, this is the second time that Jeffrey has told Justin, if you ever do that again, whatever. He says, if you ever do that again, I promise you one of us will be leaving out of here in a body bag. And so he also tells him, you don't own me and you don't control what I do, who I talk to, why it's my friend. I'm going to talk to him. And I'm like, Jeffrey, you just told Justin that before you left the house. Like, you're a broken record. Justin is not going to listen to you. Anyways, Justin is like, I'm not trying to own you. I'm just protecting what's mine. So Jeffrey says the same thing we're all thinking. How are you protecting me by putting a gun up to my head? That doesn't even make sense. And then so Justin is like, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have come. And, you know, I'm just really crazy about you. Okay, yeah, we get it. But, like, chill out. So Jeffrey is like, you know what? I'm done with dealing with this. I'm going back to my dad's place. Speaking of the condo. And Justin is like, no. And he says it in a way that, like, he doesn't want him to see something that's there. So we don't know what has happened with the condo at this point. But he's like, no, you don't have to go back there. Remember, I got a place for us. It's really nice. Y'all, I imagine that the place that Justin has for him and Jeffrey has, like, all these pictures of him and Jeffrey all over the place. And, like, he has, like, photoshopped them together. Like, I think Justin is legit crazy. But anyways, Jeffrey is looking at him like, dude, what did I just tell you? You don't control me. I'm out. Deuces. Okay, so then the scene goes over to Mitch. Mitch rushes down to the bar because remember, Benny has just told him that his Uncle Vinny died and he does not believe him, okay? So he rushes to go see it for himself. When he walks in, he sees the owner of the bar, which I believe his name is Vic or something. He sees him sitting there, asked him about the police and the ambulance. Of course, he said like, oh, I called him an hour ago. And I'm thinking like, dude, maybe you need to call again, okay? So, they called the ambulance an hour ago. Now, mind you, Uncle Vinny was already laying on the floor, bleeding out, but way before they even called the ambulance. Wyatt had left at that point. Okay, so, but in Tyler Perry land, okay, they ain't over. Their life ain't over until Tyler says it's over. So, Mitch goes to check on his uncle, and coincidentally, he still has a pulse, okay? He's bleeding out, but he has a pulse. So Mitch hurries and he calls the ambulance again to make sure that they get down there. And I'm thinking, this dude had to be laying here for at least 2 or more hours. Like, how do you bleed out for that long? And then you're not responsive, like at all, not moving or anything. But y'all know, like, Benny was like 90% dead for a whole season. So I guess those things can happen. But anyways, so now it goes back to Jeffrey. So Jeffrey walks back into his dad's condo, and it looks like a tornado has come in and like wrecked shop completely. And like all the furniture is flipped over. It was literally like exes gone wild, or like boyfriend gone wild, whatever him and Justin are. Justin got mad. He tore up the place and still had time to follow Jeffrey to Wyatt's house. So he's just really disappointed at this point. Then comes in Justin, because Justin is, you know, a little stalker. And Justin is like, I told you not to come. So he's like, I just want you to know that I did this for us. And Jeffrey is like, you did this so I can leave here and go to your place, right? And he's like, look, I have a beautiful place for us. It's going to be worth it. And then Jeffrey is like, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. And I'm thinking, I know, like, you're going to have to kill him. Like, there's no way. Like, you're going to have to kill him. So then at this point, he asked him if he did it on purpose. Justin isn't really answering his question at this point. So Jeffrey gets tired of him and he's like yelling at him to get out because he's fed up, okay? He's pissed off to the highest level of pissivity. Okay, now we have Erica and David. They're sleeping, which coincidentally, every time we see them, they're sleeping or they're about to have sex or they just finished having sex. Like, they don't do anything else. They don't even eat. They don't go to the mall. They don't go to the movies. Like, she's a hidden secret. Whatever. So anyways, Erica's phone beeps. So she gets it and like tiptoes out of the room and calls back whoever called her. Who that person was Rocky. So Erica asked him like, why are you contacting me so late? Remember, they're all connected because they all worked for Candace at one point, which Erica still does. So then Rocky tells her, I have to tell you that they're going to burn you. Speaking of Candace and Veronica, because Rocky overheard Candace and Veronica's conversation down at the bar, that they want to that Veronica wants her dead and all this stuff. So Rocky tells her, whatever you're into, you need to get out now. And you can come and work for us at the bar. And Erica's like, I'm beyond that like small escort life. Okay, I work with big dollars at this point. Okay, this is why I'm working on David. So as I said, I'm retired from that life, but thank you for contacting me and I will contact you back. And I'm like, Erica, if you knew what was good for you, you would not contact him back, okay? Because Candace really spared your life. Like, she could have had you killed last time. But anywho, so now Erica like cracks the door open so that she can tiptoe back in. But of course, David is wide awake because like I said, he's a very observant person. She just keeps getting like less and less careful with her moves. So I do think that he's seriously going to figure it out very soon. But anyways, she's like, sorry, I didn't want to wake you. So David, of course, asks her who she's talking to. She always says her sister. And I'm like, David, are you going to ask, like, what's your sister's name? Like, maybe she should come over. Maybe we can go to lunch. He doesn't ask enough questions, okay? He doesn't even have a chance to catch Erica off guard with her responses because he just believes her. Whatever. So, David tells her, I was reaching for you and you weren't there. Speaking of in the bed, because, you know, this dude is blindly in love. And so David was like, are you okay? And so Erica looks really uncomfortable. She's really bad at covering up what's going on, but she's like, you know, yeah, I'm good. Okay, so then David's phone is ringing, and this is Jeffrey calling him. So it's late at night, so David automatically asks Jeffrey, like, what's wrong? So Jeffrey tells him, it's your apartment, it's been ransacked. Now, Jeffrey knows that Justin did it. David knows that Justin deals with Jeffrey and that Justin is a little crazy, but Jeffrey said he can handle it. So why in the world would he not tell him the truth? Like, look, I'm going to try to cut this dude, but he's kind of a crazy boyfriend and he jacked up your whole apartment. Like, your daddy got the money to fix it, like to get everything replaced. Like, why would you lie? Whatever the case, David drops everything because his son is his number one priority, even at 30 years old, and he tells him, I'm on my way, and he tells Erica, and she tells her to stay at home, and he rushes out. Okay, so then we have RK and Veronica, yeah. Now remember, on last week's episode, RK was upstairs. After he, like, stole all her little jewelry and stuff, he's laying on the bed just waiting, because in his mind, Veronica is about to be his new sugar mama. Okay, so he is doing his job like Candace told him to do. He's literally standing on the bed, like legs open in front of her, and it's like dancing, like being like a little, like, you know, like sex boy to her. And like they haven't even done anything at this point. So, of course, David rushes to call Veronica because he assumes that Veronica is the one that ransacked the apartment. And I'm like, dude, that's not even like Veronica's style. Like, she's really not going to sweat like that, okay? She'll light a match and set a car on fire. She'll set somebody up to get killed, but she ain't going to just go in there and tear up stuff. But whatever. Veronica is like, oh, this is a surprise that you're calling. And he's like, David is like, I'm tired of you doing this to Jeffrey. And she was like, what? Oh, please, boy, please, whatever. And so David is like, I asked you to leave him alone, but you refused. And so Veronica is like, no, darling, like, I'm not going to stop it. So you wasting your breath. She thinks it's funny. She's like giggling and laughing in between all of this while she's watching RK dance and everything, okay? She is super drunk at this point, too. So, then David says, don't make me come out of myself to deal with you. And I'm like, David, what is coming out of yourself? Like, is there another side to you? Because David literally, he either has that, like, smooth, sexy, like, ooh, Erica, get in the bed with me. You know, I just want to, like, you know, sop you up with, like, some syrup or something. That's how he talks to her. Or he has, like, his, like, serious tone that is, like, Veronica, da-da-da-da-da-da, like, super serious. So it's like, David, I thought there was only, like, two sides to you, and it really wasn't complex. But maybe he's a low-key killer, and we don't know it. We'll see. Okay, so Veronica is like, so what does that mean? Because she never really sees him, like, you know, put any extra oomph into, like, his, like, attitude, like, when he's mad. So, then David is like, you know what it means. And I'm like, I don't. So Veronica says, I have a lovely man boy, because she refers to RK as man boy. I have a lovely man boy here trying to get my attention. And so, then Veronica asks RK to get on the phone and tell her husband hello. And then so RK, he takes his orders. He's like, hey, husband, how's your day going? And so at this point, David is like, I don't have time for this mess, okay? So Veronica says, you need to worry about that little Jezebel that you got over there in your house. And so David is like, don't make me come over there. And so Veronica says, oh, okay, well, if you want to come, you can go ahead. Just make sure you bring a condom because I won't be touching you after you touched her. And I'm like, Veronica is loving all this. She likes to get him riled up, right? Okay, so then the next thing you know, David is like, so you think this is a joke? And she says, yes, okay, it's a joke, and you're a joke. You're running around with a mere child. And he was like, are you kidding me? Like, you said you just had some little man boy over there. Benjamin Young, like, he's a child too. Veronica was like, hey, well, if you can do it, then I certainly can, okay? At this point, she's extremely flattered that a 25-year-old, like, finds her attractive. And she told David that. So David is like, you know what? Just leave Jeffrey alone. Bump all that. Leave him alone. And then Veronica says, I will when he stops acting like a girl. Because she always got to throw some shade in there, right? And so David, once again, broke a machine, saying, leave him alone. Veronica says, did you know that he was getting busy with a man on your couch in your condo? And David was like, I mean, I didn't, but I'm not shocked because he's gay. So I figured that would probably happen. And so Veronica is like, you know what? Goodbye, David. Okay, goodbye. And so David says, come after me, but you can leave him alone, okay? Come to me, I'm the problem. And then she was like, okay, well, leave your little skeezer alone, okay? The one that's in your house. And David is like, I am not playing games with you. And then click, hangs up the phone in her face. So at this point, Veronica is still super drunk. So she's rambling on the phone. Like, she had to know that he hung up on her. Yet she's still talking and going on and on and on. And then finally, like, hangs up the phone. Okay, so David rushes outside, gets in his car, and speeds off. He is on a mission. We assume that he's going to go check on Jeffrey, but later on in the episode, we find out where he went. Okay, so then we have Jeffrey. Jeffrey goes to visit Wyatt. Now, Wyatt is exactly where he should be, okay? He's like in some type of insane asylum. He has a straight jacket on, like straight coat. Like, he cannot move at all. And that is what he needs, okay? And he needs to detox. Like, they need to get all those drugs out of his system. And, like, he has problems, which is not shocking because of the parents that he has. And, like, they have sheltered him so much and protected him in so many ways that it has kind of like made him crazy. They've protected him from getting in trouble when he should have gotten in trouble, but they didn't protect him when they should have because they were too involved with their own lives. Okay. But whatever the case, Wyatt is locked in the room. So when Jeffrey shows up, like, Wyatt is like happy to see him, but mad because he's the reason why he's there. So Jeffrey tells him, like, hopefully you'll appreciate and understand all of this one day. It's for your own good. So he tells him, like, I'm going to call your mom. So Wyatt says, oh, yeah, because you're just like her. Like, she would do something like this. And then Jeffrey is like, okay, I know you're mad, but I got to go because I can't deal with this. I'm not going to be a crutch for you. Okay, so then, but Wyatt expresses to him, like, no, you the one that put me in here. You could at least stay with me. Just talk to me. Like, I don't want you to leave. So he wants to feel like he has a friend in this moment. So, but Jeffrey tells him, like, no, your mom is on her way, okay? Like, when you use drugs, you get extremely paranoid. And then Wyatt is like, I'm not paranoid. And Jeffrey is like, yeah, okay. So all of this is for your own good. So I'm going to leave you here and your mom will be on her way. So Jeffrey has been an amazing friend at this point. And you can tell, like, he genuinely loves and cares about him as a person. It's not just like some type of like intimate thing. Like, he lusts after him. Like, he cares about his well-being. Okay, so then we have Wyatt getting up to the door in his straitjacket, going up to the window, yelling for the nurse. But when he's yelling for the nurse, he's peeking out the window and he sees Uncle Vinny, the guy that he stabbed. Did he stab him or shoot him? Yeah, I forgot. Let me know. But the guy that he thought he killed at this point being wheeled away on a stretcher. And of course, if he was dead, he'd be in a body bag. He would not just be on a stretcher. So he's a little spooked out and he jumps back from the window because he doesn't want anybody to see him as a familiar face so he can be tied to the murder. Okay, so then we have Gia. Gia had just finished up her job with a guy in the hotel, walks him to the elevator and all. Okay, so at this point, her phone starts ringing. And Candace calls her, okay? He calls her and he tells her to call Rocky and tell Rocky that she's having a problem with one of her, guys that she's escorting with. And she tells her to give Rocky like a certain room number. That room number is actually Candace's new room number. Okay, so at this point, Candace, she's found out that Rocky is slick and he's trying to play her because RK told Candace. So Candace is ready to cut liabilities. Like, she don't have time for this, okay? We don't need any loose strings, any loose ends. I'm about to show him who's boss. So Gia calls Rocky. Rocky is like, okay, I'm on my way up. And then Gia calls Candace, informs her that the job is done. So Candace tells her, okay, hurry up and come to my room. Okay, so now it switches to Mitch. Mitch is sitting on Benny's doorstep, like waiting for him to get home. So when Benny pulls up, of course, I forgot where Benny went at this point, but Benny pulls up and he's like, what's up, yo, what's up? And so Mitch is like, tell me what happened again with my uncle. And Benny was like, look, I told you, I went there. He was laying on the floor, bleeding out, dead. And so Mitch was like, so you saying you didn't do this, right? Benny is like, you know me, okay? We've been brothers, like, since we was growing up, like kids. Like, I didn't do this. Okay, so then Mitch says, well, he's in the hospital right now. So Benny is like, oh, so that's a good thing, right? Like, so he's going to be okay. And then Mitch is like, we don't know yet. Okay, for your own good, I hope so. But let me tell you something. Something's real funny to me. You never called the police, and you never even did something as simple as check his pulse. And at this point, Mitch doesn't know the full story. He doesn't realize that when Benny noticed that anything even happened, that's when the bar owner walked in and the gun was held on him. Like, a lot of things happened that didn't allow Benny to call the police. And then at this point, it would have just looked suspicious, like Benny was the one that killed him, okay? A black man and a white man, especially that's connected to the mob, it just would have been bad. Okay, so, but at this point, Benny says what we have all been saying for like seasons now. Benny is like, you know me, like I'm an idiot sometimes. And I'm like, yes, the truth will set you free, okay? Use your downfalls to your advantage. And this is what he did in that moment. And so at this point, Benny told him he was an idiot and all that. And Mitch is still questioning him to see like if he's telling the truth. So Mitch even tells him, the owner's name is Vic. He tells him that Vic said that he saw him down there and apparently he saw him do that. So Benny is like, no, dude, that's not true. He's trying to defend himself. And I'm like, Vic is a liar. But Vic knows the Malone family too. So he probably feels like, dang, I should lie on this dude or else they're going to start looking at me as a suspect. Okay, so then Mitch tells him, like, you better hope he lives, okay? If you're lying, you are dead. And if he dies, you are dead, because then we won't know if you were lying or not, so we'll have to assume that you lied. And so he tells him, like, the Malones are ready for a war. So at this point, Benny is like, dude, well, can you go talk to your family for me? Like, you know I'm not capable of this. You know I didn't do it. And Mitch tells him, like, you're on your own now. I warned you. Told you don't do business with my family. This is all on you. I'm not going to protect you at this point. Like, we're not even friends. And, I understand because that was his family. And now a family member has died and his friend is oddly connected to it. So he doesn't know who to believe at this point. So Benny asked him, like, do you know how long I've got? Like, and Mitch is like, all I can tell you is I don't know. But you need to stay in your house and you need to lay low. Okay? Stay inside. And Mitch gets in his car and he drives off. So Benny looks shook at this point because Benny has always been in trouble. But this time it's almost because of himself, because he decided to do business with the Malones and Mitch warned him not to. So now we have Candace. So Candace, remember, she told Gia to come down to her room. So she lets her in and she tells her, you're going to see what happens when somebody crosses me. And she's holding a golf club when she says this. So Gia's getting freaked out. She's like, look, I'm about this escort life, but I'm not about like violence. Like, I don't do that. I don't want to see this. And Candace was like, okay, but you are going to see this, okay? You're in the wrong business if you don't want to see this. These things happen, okay? So you're going to watch this and you're going to watch and learn. So Rocky knocks on the door. Candace makes Gia go let him in. He comes, so he rushes in because he's thinking there's a dude in there he needs to take care of. No, it is Candace, and she proceeds with beating him with a golf club, okay? She literally almost beat him to death. He was like beaten like to a bloody pulp, okay? He could not even get up and walk out of the room. He had to crawl out because she made him leave out, okay? And then she told him, this is a warning. Don't ever try to cross me again, or the next time you will be dead. And I'm thinking, Candace, how do you think he's going to leave and walk through a hotel where all kinds of like strangers are and they just going to see him bleeding and ain't nobody going to like question what happened or call the police? Like, only in Tyler Perry land, okay? So at that point, Gia, she tries to leave out too, but Candace is like, no, you're not going nowhere. Come back in here, okay? First, you're going to make me a drink, and then you're going to clean up this blood off the floor. Please and thank you. She didn't really say please. She didn't really say thank you, okay? Those are your orders. Just do it. So then we have Benny, okay? Benny walks in the house. He is stressed out to the max, okay? Y'all would think that, like, all of his bills is due tomorrow, and he got a baby mama in the hospital about to deliver, and he got, like, 5 other kids that he can't afford to take care of, okay? He is stressed, okay? And Hannah is conveniently in the house reading her Bible, and, of course, she was waiting up for him. She can't sleep, and so Hannah says, well, did you talk to her? Speaking of Veronica. And Benny says, yes, she'll help me in the morning. And Hannah's like, okay, well, I've been praying and I can't sleep, okay? And she tells him that she wants to get help from Catherine. Benny says, no, I don't want help from Catherine because she's already helped enough. We're already staying in her house as it is. Like, no. And so Hannah warns Benny, like, this is not a good idea for you to work with Veronica. And Benny says, well, she's his only hope at this point, and it's free. So, and Hannah's like, oh, it's not free. I already know how you paying for it because you done turned into your sister, okay? Like, you're not saying you an escort, but you're literally, like, paying for services with your body. So it's the same thing. And she's just extremely disappointed. And Hannah thinks that Veronica is just going to end up putting Benny back in jail. And I am also on the same page as Hannah. I think that there's like a 95% chance that she's going to use this against Benny and put him in jail. Now, we have Catherine. Catherine walks into the kitchen, and Jim is in the kitchen, okay? He is watching, like, late night TV. I think it's late night at this point. Yeah, late night TV. And basically, they have a little bit of small talk, but she is anxious because she's worried that the news has gotten out that Uncle Vinny is dead. But not Uncle Vinny, but Vinny Malone. And the Malones are going to start looking, okay? And so Jim tells Catherine that there was news reported that a guy has been stabbed in a bar, but they didn't necessarily say that he was dead. Okay, he's in the hospital and he's in critical condition. So, y'all, I wonder if he's going to make it. Let me know what y'all think. I think that he's not going to make it because that would make the story like 10 times better. But if he does make it, it could work out. I mean, if there's a way for Wyatt to die in this equation, I'm all for it. But if he doesn't make it, they're just going to go after Benny and Candace and his whole family. So I don't really know how I feel about that. Benny gets on my nerves, but I don't want him to die. Okay, anyways. Catherine is like, this is great, so he can talk. And Jim is like, yeah, he can talk, but I don't see how that's a good thing. So Catherine is like, look, Wyatt has gotten a free ride for too long. And Jim is like, I'm not having this conversation with you now or later, okay? Like, we're not going to put our son in jail. And And then Catherine is like, no, you need to go talk to him and tell him to turn himself in now. And so Jim is like, why now? And Catherine was like, how do we expect a different result if we keep doing the same thing? Like, we need to do something different. And Jim is like, no, you're not doing that. He's not doing that. I've already had to do so much to keep you out of jail. So then Catherine's phone starts ringing, and it is Jeffrey. Jeffrey is telling her that where Wyatt is and that in the psych ward, and that she needs to go check on him because he's talking about hurting himself. Okay. At this point, Catherine hurries up, hangs up the phone, refuses to tell Jim what is even going on, and leaves. So now we have RK. He's at the swimming pool swimming around with Veronica, okay? At this point, like, she's toying with him. She hasn't even slept with him. He's like, what do I got to do to get you to that point, okay? But at this point, she's still enjoying the view, and they're having flirtatious conversation with each other. He gets out the pool and goes and gets another drink because she's not budging at this point, but he has a mission to accomplish, okay? So then we see Gia in the hall, okay? She's in the hall. This part threw me off, okay? This was a plot twist. So Gia is in the hall, like in a hidden part of the hallway, and she is talking to like an old white guy that we've never even seen before, okay? And he tells her, like, I've been calling you. And she says, well, I ain't got nothing. And so he's like, well, what's going on with her? So we assume, like, yeah, he's talking about Candace. And so Gia is like, all these cameras around and you're following me. And so she's like, look, I'm trying to play this game right, but this girl is really smart. And so the white guy says, I hired you as an informant, and what have you found out? And like, is she a murderer? And then Candace, Gia is like, well, you telling me? And then so the dude is like, oh, okay, so did she admit it? And Gia's like, no, but like, she literally beat the dog mess out of this bartender, Rocky. And so the dude says, well, is he gonna press charges? Gia's like, no, it don't work like that in this world. And then the dude says, I have Jim Cryer, and you trying to get her. I want her. And I'm like, okay, so he's connected to Jim Cryer. Okay. So then she says, okay, so give me more time. And then the dude says she has someone on her team helping her, and I want to know who it is. And first of all, the future president is helping her, so you ain't gonna be able to outdo him, okay? He got Secret Service. Okay, so she says, I'm working on it. Can I go now? And he says, yes, but you better bring me back something. And then she says, okay, I gotta go. Just relax. And that whole scene right there explained to me why Gia was so thirsty. Like, Candace, please, I have to work for you. Please, 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 please. Okay, so she's an informant. A lot of people around Candace are informants, and this is why she's not connected to people. Okay, so now we have Veronica cracking up drunk on the couch with RK. At this point, RK is simply like babysitting. You can tell he's getting tired of this. So there's a loud banging at her door. Veronica gets up to answer the door, and it is David, okay? He has come there to go off on her about his son. So he is like, what in the world is your problem, okay? You had my condo ransacked. And she is like, what? And he was like, you burnt my car? She was like, now that I did do, okay? I did do that. Yeah, because she's drunk. And so he's like, you were driving me over the edge. And then she's like, oh, well, what you gonna do, David? What you gonna do? Y'all know she likes to like rev him up. And he's like, leave my son alone. And she's like, I've been waiting for you to do something. So what you gonna do? And she was like, you need to stop with all the idle threats. Once again, what you gonna do? Like, she was like all up in his face. So he's like, you been drinking again? And I'm like, dude, like, I don't even know why you asked that question. That's like asking Wyatt if he's like on drugs again, whatever. And so he was like, you know what happens when you drink. And she says like, well, I'm waiting for your chick to come out that house. And he was like, don't you dare touch her. And she's like, well, what you gonna do, David? Like I said. And she starts clapping and everything, making a mockery out of him. So David literally grabs her shoulders to like warn her to stay away. And Veronica is yelling, calling David a simple B, like a man a simple B. And you know, like they really take offense to that. So at this point, she starts slapping his chest. I mean, like she's like really pushing him, like do something, do something. I literally hate this because you're trying to pull it out of him. And how are you going to react when you really pull it out of him? Well, let's see, okay? Because David's nerves are super bad. He gets so mad that he literally backhands her and slaps the mess out of Veronica. She slid across the room to the point where RK was like, oh my gosh. And he was shocked. And he went down to help her. So I'm like, yeah. Now, if David don't literally scare the life out of her, or I don't know, like Veronica is about to be so mad she's gonna literally try to burn his house down again. Like he better not drive a car, he better not have nowhere knives near him. He needs to get Secret Service or some bodyguards because Veronica is going to like wreak havoc on his life because she's gonna be so mad that he put his hands on her. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think. As usual, please like this video, y'all, please. And subscribe, comment below so we can have good conversation. I want to know y'all theories. And if you made it this far, you're not a subscriber, you may as well subscribe. And check me out on my next video, which will probably be a power review. Then the haves and have-nots again. Okay, see you guys next time. Bye.